Hi everyone. So this question is not easy to answer because I feel like I've learned um, more than 3 minutes worth of of things in this class this quarter. But I will do my best to kind of summarize the top things that I've taken away that I've already been applying or have begun to apply to my own understanding of my own practices of attempting to live well and live in a fulfilled way. So first, in this class, I gained a true understanding and a true knowledge of the meaning of value, and how it's not just this separation of values and value sets and beliefs, and then these things that have value, monetary value, and thinking of them as two separate things. But instead, it is just a more well-rounded, a more accurate picture of what we want. And at first, I wasn't really sure that distinction was important to make, but as we move forward in the course, I really realized that it is vitally important to understanding, what it is deep down that each of us as individuals wants, and we have, different worldviews that contribute to that idea and that conception of what we want. And when we separate value into value and values, we tend to experience a lot of cognitive dissonance, because maybe what we really want is happiness and a fulfilled life, but then we see that as only being attained through assets and things that have monetary value. And for me, going through this class, learning actually what I really want has been fundamental and really just instilling additional happiness and fulfillment in my life, because I no longer think of these things as separate entities, separate desires, my belief set and the things that I want. It's all tied up together. And it's allowed me to kind of shed cognitive dissonance in how I approach these issues, and it's really just illuminated what I desire and what I want. Man, I'm already getting almost to 3 minutes, so I'll hurry up. So also, in the past, and I still struggle with this on occasion, but I'm really working on this. But I've noticed that, in the past I've been really focused on defining what I want, and who I think of myself in relation to my environment, my friends, and the people that are around me. And, I think places like Stanford, they really emphasize and encourage this kind of peer evaluation. It's just kind of, it exists within the institutional environment of it all. And, towards the end of this year, I began to think about, getting a job as a senior, thinking about jobs in terms of what I thought other people would find impressive, which is a toxic way of going about trying to find a particular job or a career path. And in this class, really having this understanding of value as what we want, I've kind of deeply analyzed how I derived what I want in the past, and how it was very easily influenced from kind of a consensus understanding by a group. And that's not always the healthiest or the best way of deriving value. In fact, it can be incredibly maladaptive to the environment and the lifestyle that we want to live. So moving forward, I have completely shed that practice. I am working on trying to understand what I want, and going for those goals in order to make me happy, and give me the resources and the environment that I need that's necessary for me to live in a fulfilled and meaningful way. Managing and being aware of my my idiolect, and the phenomena of linguistic relativity, and just having a base knowledge of linguistic understanding has been incredibly important. Just knowing that if I was born in a society where I was given pastels, and someone else was born in a society where they were given watercolors, and we both painted a picture of the same tree, well, it might be the same tree, but our interpretation of it, our portrayal of it, is going to be very different. And there might be some similarities, but it's not going to be quite the same. And that ties into linguistic relativity. You know, we have these different ways of explaining our universe through words and vocabulary, and these actually shape our cognitive processes, the ways that we interpret the world around us. And so, in internalized fashion, I've kind of taken that to heart and understood that, you know, when I use negative language to describe my own actions or my lack of actions, that it doesn't help. It doesn't motivate me to maybe get back on the horse the next time. In fact, just cognitively, it makes me almost less likely to achieve what I want in the future. Like if I you know, get out of bed late and I don't go to the gym like I'd planned to the next day. I said, "Oh man, I should have done that," or you know, I can't just sleep in like that. Well, that honestly, the next morning it's still going to be just as hard to get up because I wouldn't have kind of positively motivated myself to do so. So I've really tried to be aware of the idiolect that I use, my linguistic understanding, and I've tried to eliminate things I can't and should, negative words from my vocabulary in order to positively reinforce action and motivate me to really achieve what I want moving forward. And finally, I'll wrap this up. This is long. But I think the biggest thing that I've taken away, and the most surprising, is kind of tying in the idea of religion, the practice of religion, into a scientific worldview, into a conciliant worldview. This was something that I didn't think was possible. Coming into this class, I was, you know, I'm not a religious person. I didn't think I was. I, you know, did not believe in God or in a particular religion, belief set, what have you. And over the course of this class, I understood that religion has somewhat been co-opted, the term at least, by belief sets that are rooted in the understanding, teachings of a higher being, of a deity. But that the actual term "relig" means to connect again, or to reconnect. And in essence, religion is not so much about the worship of a deity, but it's about the practice of community building and understanding across cultures, across individuals. And it can be practiced through a scientific worldview, you know, by shedding this illusion of belief in a supreme being that cannot be questioned, and the teachings of that supreme being. Instead, if we understand science, we understand where we've come from, we understand all these things that we've covered in the class, we can shed those illusions, we can begin to look across these artificial boundaries that we used to set up by practicing religion. And we can look across that divide, and we can connect with people who are really very, very similar to us at the end of the day, and kind of breed a new sort of spirituality that is much more human-centric and based in science. Now that is something I would love to see carried out in the world. I would love to see, you know, a unified belief set, worldview for all humans living on the earth. But in that way, I feel comfortable saying that I'm a religious person. Now, many people out there would disagree with me, but I am a religious person in the true sense of the word, not the one that's been co-opted, and in the one that is rooted in scientific understanding, a scientific worldview, and in the practice of value science. So, in that, I'd like to say thank you for a wonderful course this quarter. It's really been a pleasure. I know I will see all of you again. And it really just has been a great thing for me, and I hope for everybody else in the class. It's a wonderful practice, value science. There's so much behind it. There's so much great information, and I will love to employ it in my life moving forward. Thanks so much.